Yes, my people, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my 31-day challenge where I speak in front of the camera every single day to get better and more confident. If you're brand new here, my name's Enoch, and if you're returning, as always, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for following. Dylan Mutri, shout out to you as someone who's worked with me for a long time. You've been sending me words of encouragement, showing me every single day that, you're catching up whenever you can. Yeah, it's keeping me going. As all the other support, but just want to give a special shout out to you because I've been in your situation before. I know how hard it is working all those hours. So keep grinding, bro. You remind me a lot of myself, and I just know you've got great things coming your way. So just keep grinding, bro. Tough times never last. Only tough people last. Remember that one. But yeah, to be honest with you, I really don't want to be recording right now. Only because, as usual, this season, Man United, yeah, absolutely slapped today. It's a common reoccurrence, and honestly, it hurts as a football fan. Like, football can be so cruel. And I knew, like, literally, I knew that I should have recorded this earlier because I didn't want that to affect my mood. And any football fan, any real football fan who supports the team knows how cruel and how annoying it is when your team lose, especially United, where every single team in the league hates us. Every single side is against us. They just want to see us all lose, man. And as we spoke about the other day about seasons and cycles. Unfortunately, we're just in a long cycle of just absolute mockery, mid-level. I can't even see. Just can't even do it, bro. Mid-table side football. That's just, yeah. It looks like we're not going anywhere. 1 minute we're going, let's take a step forward. The next week it's 5 steps backwards. The team's just inconsistent. Yeah, it's just been a season and a half. I literally remember at the start of the season when maybe like 11 of our first team players got injured, and I was thinking, yeah, this is going to be a long season. But yeah, it hurts. But anyway, we move. We're not going to let that affect this video. We're going to carry on, graph through, and get this video out. Posting a bit later than I wanted to today, just because I've been so busy. I did initially had this time allocated in earlier on to shoot the video, edit, and post, but things just went sideways, and I was like an hour behind, and yeah. But we're here anyway. Can't complain. As we said before, life's about adjustments. Certain things happen, so you have to maneuver around that and keep it stepping. Yesterday we forgot to well, we didn't forget, but we didn't have a chance to finish on some of the topics that we were speaking about, and that was hand gestures, hand motion, and animation while you're communicating and speaking to people. So one of the things that we didn't get to touch on is, where do you think you pick these things up from? I'm hoping you've watched yesterday's episode and this makes sense. If you haven't, obviously go back to the previous day's episode, catch up with that, so this all makes sense. At the end of the video, I asked you guys, do you even realize that, the way you speak, the way you animate yourself while you're speaking, do you realize other people are doing it, or are you oblivious to it? I hope you've had a second or had some time to actually look into it, think about it, because the way I see it and the way I've kind of like analyzed it is a lot of it's got to do with how you pick things up as a kid, and as you're growing up, the things that you do see and the things that you do then emulate from the influential people like in your life. For example, when I look at the way I speak and the way I animate myself when I'm speaking in front of someone, I think a lot of it I get from my mom. Because if you know my mom, like, how animated she is when she's speaking. whenever she laughs, she'll end up, if she finds it very, very funny, she'll end up like hitting you, but not in an aggressive way, but in like a playful way. So I definitely get that from her. Like me and my sister always laugh about that kind of thing. Um, she's stubborn. I'm stubborn. She likes to argue. I like to argue. So those little things definitely are attributed to the people around you, the people who influence you. Especially, I think the animation thing as well. That's probably definitely something I've got from her. I haven't done too much research into it, but I'm like intrigued if those kind of things are also like, yeah, if I don't be down to genetics, but even personality traits, I feel like that has an effect of how you communicate as a person as well. If you're shy, if you're timid, if you're outgoing, if you're outspoken, those kind of things, I think then kind of determine how then you animate yourself when you are speaking in front of someone. So I think there's quite a lot of things that go into, and determine how you do speak in front of people. But at the same time, the best thing about it is the fact like once you realize it, once you take account into it, then you can tweak certain things. Yes, it's going to be difficult because maybe you've been doing it your whole life, but at the end of the day, once you see like a certain habit that you have and you start working on that habit and you change it, you can alter it if you want to. As we said yesterday, it's not bad or good. It depends on you as a person, how you like to speak, how you would like to speak maybe in the future, how you'd like to incorporate and combine certain aspects of the pros and cons of both sides. So it's definitely interesting, just to see how different people interact with each other. On top of that, I wanted to speak about attention. So now that you may be paying attention to how you speak and how you animate yourself when you are speaking in front of someone, we live in a world, especially right now, where I feel like one of the biggest fights is for our attention. And it's very important that, you take time and you realize what you're paying attention to, because at the end of the day, that's one of the most important things that people want from you. Companies, social media, like anything you can think of who want to sell you something. If you really think about it, what do they want first? They want your attention. Once they've got your attention, they can now market something and then eventually sell you something. And that's one of the biggest things. Protecting, but being very aware of where you are paying attention to things. For example, when you're scrolling on social media, when you're scrolling on TikTok, Snapchat, whatever the case may be, all these different social media apps, they're designed to keep you on those platforms. And the way they do that is also by feeding you content that you like, or the algorithm thinks that you like. And what does that do in turn? It catches your attention and keeps you rolling and keeps you on these platforms. But at the same time, a lot of people are under this influence and not realizing what they're actually paying attention to. And when they are scrolling on Facebook, or Instagram or TikTok, they're just mindlessly scrolling, and there's a lot of things that are being fed to them that's then hitting their subconscious mind, and they're not even realizing it. So that then influences the way they think, the way they behave, the way they act, all those different things. So I think today's video's takeaway is definitely just to be more consciously aware of the things that you're paying attention to. Just know that there's someone always trying to have your attention when you're on these platforms. But the best way you can leverage them is, one, not over exposing yourself and having time off those platforms, but at the same time using that to your advantage and training the algorithms to give you and show you things that you want. Like if you right now took your Instagram, TikTok, what else uses these algorithm? Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, I think does it as well, not too much. But let's say TikTok and Instagram, for example. YouTube's a good example as well. Take those three platforms and compare it 10 minutes already, bro. That's so much to say. All right, cool. We'll pick this up tomorrow. I didn't even sign out. See, mine's gone today. But listen, we'll pick this up tomorrow. Keep that in mind. Make sure you're paying attention to where your attention is going. Apart from that, peace, love. See you on the next page.